welcome to the Klinger Cares. So today we're chatting with a special guest. So we'll dive into their missions and adoption process and some heartwarming stories about the animals they've helped. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great one. So joining us today, let's welcome Mr. Spencer Kelley, Shelter Operation Manager of Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center. Hello, Spencer. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for asking. And thank you very much for attending this exclusive interview to know more about your organization and on how the communities can help in terms of how they can love the animals and how can they adopt and the animals that they adopt. So let's dive in, Spencer, about your organization. Can you share about a brief history of Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center and its mission?
Sure. The Montgomery County Office of Animal Services is approaching this March 11 years
Wow.
that we've been in existence. The Montgomery An animal shelter is not new to Montgomery County. They've operated a shelter in our county for many, many years. Most recently, having a contract with the Montgomery County Humane Society. As that contract was ending, the building was super outdated. The county and the community really wanted to invest in an animal shelter. So they built the beautiful facility that we have here now. And when that facility was built, Montgomery County decided that they would want to run it. And here we are 11 years later. So our mission is really providing a high standard of sheltering and care to homeless, abused, neglected animals in our community, ensuring the safety and welfare of the county's residents, and really trying to strengthen that human-animal bond, really
Wow.
trying to get out into our community, make that connection with so many residents out there who really enjoy animals.
So, Spencer, to know more about your organization, what are the primary services or programs that you offered to the community by the Montgomery Animal Shelter?
Sure. I think the first one that always comes to mind to folks is pet adoption. We have a very robust pet adoption program. Other services include we are here for pet redemption, people who lost their animals. We offer free rabies clinics every week and pet licensing. We are here for the sometimes the tough situations if somebody needs to surrender a pet. We have officers who work 7 days a week in the field, responding to lost or injured pets or wildlife, fielding complaints, or responding to cruelty circumstances. And then Another big one is always foster and volunteering. People get involved. People always ask how they can help, and I know we'll get to a couple questions on that. But very robust foster and volunteer program.
Wow, so that was a huge organization that that's as you mentioned, not only the dogs or the cats, you also cater the wildlife. Is that
Yes, we do. We do assist with wildlife in our area, primarily sick, injured wildlife who need help. And We're happy to partner with a wildlife rehabilitator in our area called Second Chance Wildlife Center.
Oh, yeah. So how does your organization in connecting on that one, how does your organization collaborate with the other local and national animal welfare groups?
Sure. So I think most of our collaboration is certainly with our local groups, Second Chance being one of them. But our local groups that we partner with always assist us with fundraising for anything that we may need. Medical cases always seem to be the big one. Working with our local partners for low cost spay neuter food pantry and a donation pantry. Another big one is our local partners help us by pulling animals from our shelter. A lot of our local rescue groups will pull animals from our shelter and take them into their organization. Most of these are generally in foster homes. On a national level, we are a part of a couple of national organizations, couple of societies where we submit data to. We join in some monthly calls or some collaborations and making sure that we, along with other organizations, are kind of staying up with national standards. It's kind of no secret in the animal shelter world, especially other shelters, of like, hey, what are you doing that's working, or what are you doing that's not working, and always pick up kind of a tip here and there.
So let's dive in, Spencer, about the animal care and adoption processes. What is the process for the viewers today, or the social media people who love to adopt animal? What is the process for adopting the animals in Montgomery County, and also what support do they provide for a new pet owner?
Sure. So the process for adopting an animal, I'm happy to say, is incredibly easy. We're open currently 7 days a week. We have a walk-in based system, so anybody can walk in anytime that we're open and really adopt an animal. They will walk through our shelter. See what they're interested in. We've got staff and volunteers that will help them out throughout their visit. They'll finish with our adoption counselors who are specialists to really talk to people about kind of pet care and this specific animal, about how can we kind of set you up for success. And then how we provide ongoing support. A lot of it is certainly upfront. We have these great, robust adoption packets that provide kind of try to get everything that they'll need, especially early on as the animal and the people are getting acclimated to one another. We are proud to offer kind of our services to adopters. I'd really say lifelong, but it's again usually in the early stages where they can reach out to their specific adoption counselor or anybody at the shelter at any time. We give them access to, we have a behavior team here. We give them access to our behavior team. If they're having any issues early on or any point throughout, we'll give them some tips or set up a consultation. So we are really here along the way to try and help both the human and the animal acclimate to this new home.
Wow, it's a better I think that makes a better world in this time of you know having the animals care for the from the human and the animals, and also how they can express their love through animals, because you can see them, because I am a dog lover, Spencer, and even they don't talk about like humans like us, but they communicate with you through their eyes and what did they need, and that feeling, that connection
Yes,
between the
yes,
human and an animal. So can you
yes.
describe to me, Spencer, what is the measure to take ensure the animal is care and healthy and well socialized to each other?
Sure. This is a tough one because as much as we try to make our animal shelter as homey or as less stressful as possible, this is still an animal shelter. It's a stressful environment. So I'd say this is the number one thing that our team is kind of striving towards each day. This starts up front where usually within the first 24 hours that an animal is here. We're trying to get our hands on with our veterinary team, with our admission specialists, making sure these animals, one, are properly vaccinated for our type of environment, that they're getting an exam that they're looking over, because we are getting animals from all sorts of backgrounds, with some medical history that their owners provide to lost pets who we know nothing about. So really getting our eyes on these animals and really establishing that baseline. And then as they move through our system, we've got our dedicated animal care attendants who provide the day-to-day care for these animals. We have a very robust cleaning and sanitation system as animals move from one location to the other, again, with unknown backgrounds. We do need to make sure we are thorough in our sanitation and disinfection process, which our animal care attendants play a major role. The animal care attendants also play a major role in the daily kind of physical exercise, the socialization, the enrichment part. We have these logs that they fill out every day to measure both medically and behaviorally how an animal is improving. Are they progressing? Are they regressing? And then it comes down to a lot of it for our cats and dogs and other animals, especially when they get on the adoption floor, are volunteers. Our volunteers are a major part of our organization. They're here 7 days a week. Honestly, they're here from the time our staff get here in the morning till our staff go home at night, helping us ensure, because we have at any given point anywhere from 250 to 300 animals in our building, 350 animals at any given time.
Wow.
Our vet team can't watch every single one of them, so they need the eyes and the ears of the animal care attendants and the volunteers and many other teams. Some teams may have specific roles that they play that are not directly related to animal care, but they know that if they see something, they say something. So we rely on kind of every all hands on deck to keep our eyes on these animals, making sure that they're healthy and well socialized.
Wow, that's good to hear, Spencer. So you mentioned that there are volunteers that help you to have this organization. So let's dive into the role on what does the Montgomery Animal Shelter play in terms of educating the community about responsible pet owners and animal welfare.
I feel we play a vital role to educating the community about responsible pet ownership and animal welfare. And this starts with any time that we have an interaction with a member of the public. From any time that somebody walks through our doors, there's always little bits and pieces we're trying to share during an adoption counseling appointment, even just during a general just visit to our shelter. I've heard many times our volunteers having very productive conversations with people that are just walking through as they ask questions. Um, this is a vital role that our officers play. People do see officers. Our officers are in uniform, and they may see that they're out there as the dog catcher. They see them kind of as police, and a lot of times many times that is far from the truth. That they are out there just ensuring the welfare of the animals, as I stated in our mission. And really, we're a public safety organization where we need to ensure that there's the safety of the community as well. And there's always an ever-growing presence that we'd like to have through social media. It's kind of where our world is now. We're always trying to throw tips out there through our social media platforms. One of them right now is with being in the winter. How can you help keep your pets safe? That's obviously from simple things of like knowing the law of like when not to keep pets outside when it's cold, but some other tips on how to keep your pets safe during the cold weather. So we play a very vital role in this.
Wow, that's very good to hear of that. And also, would like to follow up with the question. Can you share any success stories or a memorable moments that highlights the impact of your work?
Sure. Um, two stories kind of come to mind, and they highlight they really highlight, they're always focused on the animal, and they highlight two different ends of the spectrum here. We actually just wrapped up this summer a pretty significant cruelty case on a cat that came to us. And she came to us with several broken bones. She was
Oh.
underweight through going through some trauma, unfortunately, with her past owner. But it was great to see her kind of transform from. She actually came in, I believe, Christmas Day 2023, and we just wrapped it up this summer. Where now she's our vet team was hands-on 7 days a week with her. And now she's healthy. She got adopted over the summer, and now in a loving home.
Wow.
Another one that where highlights where our work we try to do with individuals. We had a family that their dog was acting a little odd. They took him to an emergency clinic, and what they had discovered was he had inhaled some and eaten some Gorilla Glue, and Gorilla Glue, once it's in use, it expands. And this was a small dog, so their animal needed emergency surgery, which they could not afford. Sadly, in these cases, they needed to surrender their pet because they could not afford the care, and truly through no fault of their own, as an accident happened. So the Montgomery County Animal Shelter took this dog in and performed the emergency surgery that this animal needed, got him healthy. During that time, this family was, it was clear that they cared about their dog deeply, because they were always checking how is he going to make it. That's really all we care about. We really didn't want to do this. And once he was kind of out of the woods, our shelter had a conversation that, you know what, accidents happen. They had asked, and we kind of granted it, where they had said, hey, if there's anything we can do, we'd love to get him back. And once this dog was kind of out of the woods, we were like, yeah, you know what? Things happen. Yeah, we'd love to return your dog to you. He's healthy. And everybody can kind of move forward.
Wow, that's very good to hear because the community and also those people who help you and also your organization collaborate to each other to support these animals. It's very heartwarming, and the feelings is there. So let's dive in, Spencer, about the community support and donation. What are the different ways that the community can get involved to show or to support your missions?
Sure. There's actually a very good graphic out there that I always love for this type of question, where it's how can you get involved? It's like, one, if you can adopt, that'd be great. It really finds what I like about this graphic is it really likes like how everybody can do something if they're interested. Where if you can adopt, great. That helps the animal shelter out. If you can adopt, because of long-term commitment, maybe you can foster. That is a shorter-term commitment. If you cannot foster, maybe you can volunteer your time every once in a while. If you can't find the time to volunteer, maybe you can donate. That whether that's monetary or some physical donations. If it's not the right time to donate, then you can just educate, help spread the word. So that's usually my and there's some good graphics on the internet about there that kind of break all that down. But that's usually my favorite. Is there's always something for somebody to do.
So aside from that, any donation or support of the community, are there any specific items or services or funds that you need the most? And how can the people or the community can contribute and donate to help you?
Sure. Um, as far as specific items or funds go, yes, we do take both monetary and physical donations. Monetary does help our program and services. I had mentioned earlier that some of our local partners help with some of our pretty extreme medical cases. There's limitations to what our veterinary team can do, especially when it comes to some specialized diagnostics, some specialized surgeries that we have to outsource. As far as physical donations go, our animals are always in need of pet bedding, pet toys, and then it's whatever people are willing to donate, from the sense of like, what can my neighbor possibly benefit with, because we have our own kind of donation pantry, food pantry in one of our lobbies, and we partner with a couple groups. So that can be pet food, that can be general pet supplies, a crate, cat litter, so anything kind of will help.
Mhm. So you mentioned, Spencer, all the community support, the donation, and how the community can help you in terms of the items that you need specifically for the animals. And also, you mentioned about the community impact of the Montgomery County Animal Shelter on how can they can help the animals in there. So can you tell us what are the challenges or opportunity, or what are the some biggest challenges of your organization faces, and how the community can play a big role in overcoming them?
Sure. So the some of the biggest challenges that we face is probably no different than a lot of community organizations out there, is striving to meet the needs of our society or our community, kind of in an ever developing world where cost is always a big factor. So how can we help close the gap in meeting the needs of our community? How can we bring the services to our community? And how the community can play a role. I'll go back first to that graphic that comes to mind, is everybody can do a little bit of something, whether that's adoption, foster, volunteer, donate, or educate. Yeah, really, how can we meet the needs to our community? This is low cost spay neuter, low cost vaccines. Really asking our community what they need help with and trying to capitalize.
Okay, so you mentioned those challenges that you're facing. So on the other side, what are the opportunities, or are there any upcoming events or initiatives or programs that you would like to highlight?
Sure. So I think the biggest initiative that we're working hard to strive, our executive director, our chief veterinarian, with this the support our county is, we are trying very hard to bring low cost spay neuter to our community. This is certainly in its infancy stage, a goal we've made for 2025, launching this month. Bringing low cost spay neuter to our community. There's low cost spay neuter certainly in our area, in the DMV area, that we refer people to, and even some low cost in Montgomery County. But really trying to see how the shelter and physically at our building can we provide low cost spay neuter. So that's an initiative, a program that is launching here this month. It's in the very, very early stages, but something that our team is working very, very hard on. And then another upcoming event, we haven't announced the specifics or even the name, but we generally have an adoption event in the spring. We just wrapped up in December a Home for the Holidays adoption event, and we generally have another one in the spring. Sometimes it's been around Valentine's Day, sometimes it's been around spring break. So we'll certainly be having an adoption event coming this spring.
Oh, that's great. So if there are any initiatives or program, they can see on your website as well. They get
Yes,
updated on those specific website that you can promote them and how they can help the people or the animals. So to
yes.
wrap up this quick chat with you, Spencer, let's have to dive into the behind the scenes. What motivates your team to continue this important work, and how do you celebrate your successes?
Sure. So the motivation, and this is, I'm sure, different for every individual. Um, so speaking for me personally, and some of our team, I mean, it always starts with the animals. This is pretty much why every single person comes to work or comes to volunteer. It always starts with the animals. So that's always a pretty good motivator when you have animals depending on your care. And then seeing the transformation from day one till the time that they're adopted or they've gone to a rescue group or they've simply gone back to their owner because they were a lost pet. Seeing the transformation that many of these animals make. And then another one is seeing the dedication and enthusiasm for me, from my colleagues or other volunteers. That I have other individuals that I'm here that I get to work alongside that are just as passionate, more passionate to help out animals and help out the people in our community. There are some that I know that like a behind the scenes that work tirelessly to make sure somebody's reunited with a lost pet. So really seeing the dedication and the passion from colleagues and volunteers and just members of the public. And how we kind of celebrate our success, certainly something we probably don't do enough. That sometimes we simply just lose sight of. But we try to give ourselves and our colleagues some recognition. I know one thing we always enjoy seeing as shelter workers and even volunteers are seeing those updates from animals that were in our animal shelter for a couple weeks, a couple months, or some of these really long time stayers. Get to see them in their new home is always very exciting. Actually, one example we probably do where it's celebrating success kind of in the moment. When an animal's adopted and they're walking out the front doors with their new owner, our staff and any volunteers that are around will stand up and clap as kind of like signifying like a very cool moment. Yes, for that animal, yes, for that adopter, but it is kind of marks the good work that the people, the staff, and the volunteers did that put into to making that possible.
That's a very good one because it's a very cool moment when you see those animals. We have their new family to take care of them and also to cherish them as part of also their family and the community as well. So thank you very much, Spencer, for sharing this incredible work that the Montgomery County Animal Service and Adoption Center is doing to help the animals in our community and also the volunteers. It's also inspiring to hear more about your passion and dedication that goes to your missions about the animals and on how the community can support those kind of animals that they need to care. So to wrap up this short and very memorable and heartwarming chatting with you, Spencer. Do you have any messages to all the volunteers out there or to the owner of the animals, or any tips that you would like to say?
Sure. I'll first say thank you so much for having me today, and thank you to the Klinger Insurance Group. One for your donations to our shelter, to your passion for for highlighting the animal shelter, and really getting the word out. That's one thing that it still surprises me a little bit that some people don't even know that we exist. So help getting the word out is certainly one of the things. To your question, is there's always a thank you that needs to go out there to our team, to our volunteers. That probably doesn't get said enough, and I'll kind of end with that for many years, certainly early in my career, we've always seen the animal shelter as this brick and mortar facility that houses homeless pets. But and while that is partly true, where animal sheltering, and certainly where there's a lot of our focus for this coming year and the years beyond, is we want our adoption center, we want our building to be seen as a resource center for our community. That people come to us because they want a positive experience, they want an animal, but they simply have a question or they need some help. And we wanted to provide them with that help with whatever it may be.
So thank you very much again, Spencer. So to everyone watching right now, if you would like to learn more about the Montgomery County Animal Shelter and Adoption Center, support their efforts, or even start your own adoption journey, and visit their website and follow them on their social media platforms and any updates and opportunities to get involved. So thank you for tuning in for the Klinger Care. This has been Coco. Together, we make difference.